I've watched in classrooms for over 20 years kids make this mistake. 6 minus 2 is 8, and then someone will say, but 6 minus 2 is 4, and they have a big discussion about it. How's that possible? It's because they've been studying integer addition and subtraction, and they're trying to just memorize the rules. One method I've used in the past to help kids see it beyond the rules is this. If you have 6, you would put down 6 plus signs to represent a positive integer of 6. And in the subtraction, 2 means you take away 2. So you can just cross out 2, you're left with 4. Simple enough. Now, a little more interesting is 6 plus negative 2. Well, again, begin with my 6 positives. But now I'm adding 2 negatives. Now, the important aspect here is to understand that 1 positive and 1 negative makes what's called a zero pair. Right? They cancel each other out. So with 2 zero pairs, you're left with 4. The answer is still 4. So now we have 6 minus negative 2. So again, 6 positives, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I got to take away 2 negatives. I don't have any. So I could add 2 negatives, but that would destroy the continuity of the problem. So I can add the 2 zero pairs. So along with the negatives, I add a positive. By adding the positive and negative, I've added a zero pair, which means I essentially added nothing. But now I can take away 2 negatives, and I'm left with my answer, which is 2, 4, 6, 8. I know this sounds confusing. You're going to come at me and say, just take 2 negatives and put them together. Here's why that doesn't work for children. When you say, put together 2 negatives to make a positive, kids think this also means 2 negatives makes a positive. They'll say this. That makes no sense. And now they're busy trying to think about rules and not actually make sense of numbers. In actuality, if you have negative 6, that's 6 negatives. To take away 2, there's not 2 here. There's just negatives. So now I've got to add 0 pairs in the other direction. And once I do that, then I can take away my 2, but I'm left now with 8 negatives. And that is the answer. And that should be obvious to kids who are thinking critically, not just trying to memorize rules on the board. Lines are also a great way. I have a video about that in my past somewhere. But also, the rules do work. It's just that they're not a solid foundation to build on moving into high school.